What's up, everyone? I am your host, DJ, aka Sexy Bad Choices. I am joined by
Sean MF Ross.
what the MF stand for?
I don't know. Get your weight up.
Get your weight up. Look at that. The M and F are both silent. Who else is here?
I'm Avery. Hello.
Nailed it. As usual. Press X Start Podcast is a weekly show where we talk about the latest gaming news, review the biggest games, and give you our thoughts on the games we are playing. Our goal is to expand the video game media landscape through an underserved point of view. With that being said, and I know who we are, I think it is time for us to jump into... Hold up. Blam. The quick hits. Avery, take it away.
Okay, so the first quick hit is a story that pretty much broke when we were recording our last podcast. So if you understand the space-time continuum of Press X to Start, then you realize that was 2 weeks ago that was 3 weeks ago. But we're current. We're here to talk about the news. So this is from Kotaku.com. This is from Luke Plunkett. Square Enix selling Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, and Thief, as well as the studios that make them. So the Embracer Group, the massive video game conglomerate that is pretty much the kings of saying they make AA games, but not actually putting out AA games, in a $300 million deal, bought Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, and Square Enix Montreal, who are responsible for the Deus Ex games, the Tomb Raider games, and as well as Eidos Montreal. Square Enix. I don't know the Square. I can't off the back of my head remember what Square Enix Montreal was doing, but pretty much they got rid of majority of their bigger.
You're forgetting the biggest game out of all of them, Marvel's Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
That would be wrapping up in the Marvel deal, which is a separate conversation, a separate story, like a sub story to this. I wasn't going to mention it here.
Okay. Gotcha.
But yeah,
okay.
So they sold off those 3 studios, and I'm of the mind. There are two other bits of story that we got out of this. Is one that Square Enix lost $200 million on making Marvel's Avengers, and that's through their mismanagement of that game's early rollout, and then that game struggled to put out content afterwards and maintain it as a game to service and where it really is now, which is hey, I hope you like skins from the MCU because we put on a lot of them in there, and that's all we're talking about, which is fun, and I love that so much. But there's like 60 years of Marvel comics for these characters. Do something else. I don't need this character to wear Chris Evans' outfit and not look like Chris Evans. That's a whole different conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they sold these 3 studios for $300 million, which is an insane number when you really think about the context of other video game deals that have happened. That PlayStation bought Bungie for somewhere around $7 billion.
Yeah,
$3 billion.
Yeah.
No, is it 3?
Yeah, 3.6.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm sorry. It was 3. PlayStation bought just Bungie for 3.6, and they lost 3 AAA studios for $300 million.
It definitely feels like a fire sale to me. Like, it seems like Square Enix was like, "Hey, yeah, you take them. We're done with this. We're gonna
try to get these NFTs, boys."
Well, that was Square. When people saw this, people asked Square, "Why did you do this?" And they're saying, "Hey, we're trying to lean up these studios were legitimately losing us money. Like when Square Enix was saying these studios underperformed, they weren't smoking crack about, like, it doesn't matter. It didn't matter that the Tomb Raider games were, at least some of them were critically acclaimed, that the Deus Ex games were games that everyone liked. Ultimately, these large studios who were outside of Square Enix's Japanese, like, purview were bleeding money from Square and not living up to, like, their financial potential. So they made the decision to just get rid of them, and sort of like they did with IO, they let the studios keep their IP. So the Embracer Group got all the games, and not just the ones they were currently working on and known for, but every game those studios inevitably had a history of making, which is even more insane that the deal was only $300 million.
Yeah. Again, man, I definitely just feel like Square Enix was just like, we don't have any urge to use any of these properties, so you guys can just take the stuff that you got, and at least we won't look like the villains by selling off the studios and just keeping the IP. So they'll be free to do whatever they want to do.
Yeah. So Square's exact response was, the transaction will assist the company in adapting to the changes underway in the global business environment by establishing a more efficient allocation of resources, which translates, we don't have to spend this much money on these Western studios and maintaining them, so we can take that money and put it elsewhere into other studios, which will, back to their quote, which will enhance corporate value by accelerating growth in the company's core business in the digital entertainment domain. That's a little bit corporate speak that I can't really tell you what it means, but I guess it means more money in our more popular games means we could put more of those popular games out. In addition, the transaction enable the launch of new businesses by moving forward with investments in the fields involved, including blockchain, AI, and the cloud. So blockchain is like code word for we're trying to make NFTs. So
yeah,
I want to be a fly on the wall for that board meeting. Them actually breaking down what blockchain is to the people that hold the purse strings.
The best part, though, it has to be translated into Japanese. So there's definitely going to be some.
It has to be it's a Japanese company. It has to be translated into English first.
No, well, you're right. I'm assuming the person who is talking is an American guy trying to sell blockchain to Square Enix. But you're right. Yeah, blockchain is a multinational venture.
Yeah,
venture. Yeah. So like, I think with this being said, now we have a Square Enix that is 100%. Japanese, right?
I believe so. I believe they still have. I don't think they own Deck 9. Let me check, because they might own Deck 9, and that's the Life of Strange.
What the hell do they make?
Oh, the last Life of Strange game.
So yeah, like with that being said, like Square Enix is kind of ripe for the buy-in. Like
they don't own Deck 9.
Okay. So yeah, so more than likely they're at least 99% completely Japanese now.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, what I believe a couple episodes ago, Avery, you made a prediction about some company.
Was a couple of episodes ago. It was when I returned to the show for E3, and we're all making predictions, and I was like, I haven't thought about video games like this in a while, so I'm gonna make some Gatorade get hype moments based on things I want to see. And I'm like, this is this has to be post Bethesda being bought. Yeah, it had to be post Bethesda being bought.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey man, if I was Sony and I was sitting on a war chest of money and I wanted to combat Microsoft, I would buy Square Enix. He just like, no, why would you want to buy Square Enix? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Talk. And I'm like, DJ, I play a lot of Square games, and you are underselling how much shit they put out and how big those games are and what type of market that means.
And then in the same breath, I'm like, no, Sony should buy MiHoYo.
Yeah, I also told you
Sony couldn't afford MiHoYo. I just didn't know.
Yeah. So therein lies the part 2 of this story is that this is from Forbes. This is from Paul Tassi. Report: Sony could acquire Square Enix for PlayStation. Now I'm going to read a little bit of the story to give you context of where this report came from. The report comes from the PS I Love You show, where Greg Miller says he heard that Sony is trying to acquire Square Enix, though it's unclear what stage of the process may be happening and whether or not it will actually come to pass. And he says he take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah. And then this was also confirmed as a rumor by Jeff Grubb as well. And his
well, Jeff Grubb also had to come out and say, "Hey man, this is what I heard. I'm not reporting on it because I don't trust this shit. And if you're taking my words, then you're an insane person." Watch. Meanwhile, 10 threads about Sony to buy Square Enix.
Oh, this shit is happening.
Jeff Grubb confirms.
So, with that being a rumor, what do you guys think, Sean? What do you think? Do you think Sony's going to snap this up, or you think Google's going to jump in and be like, "Hey, we're Google. We got Stadia. We're Square Enix Stadia."
If you want to see Square shut down, and let Google buy them.
Oh man.
I'm trying to think, how much Square games do I actually play though?
Final Fantasy, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I couldn't tell you all the lore and shit. I've only played but a few games.
As long as you spend the money, they don't care if you know the lore or not.
I mean, I'd be fine with. I mean, they primarily focus their efforts on PlayStation consoles. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Well,
a gimmick.
that's the thing. So back during when I made this prediction, it was me looking at the lineup of games that Square was currently putting out, and 75% of them were PlayStation exclusive, with no conversation when this was coming to Xbox. I think I made the observation at the beginning of the year that it's been over a year since Final Fantasy VII Remake had been out, and while it came out on PC, I believe, there was absolutely no word or conversation of when that game was coming to Xbox, which was a big cause for conversation when that game came out. And so
There's still no word on when it's coming for Xbox or if it's coming for Xbox.
And then
It'll be a world exclusive at the Game Awards.
Yeah, it's one of those things where to me, I'm not trying to tell Sony how to do their business. What do I know? I'm literally in my room with my video game paraphernalia, speaking to an audience of maybe a couple hundred people about my thoughts on how Sony should run their business. I am not an expert, even though if this does happen, I predicted it a year and a half ago.
Wait, stop, Avery. You're wearing an I'm an expert shirt, so like obviously you know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, no. Okay, first of all, thanks to Mother's Day, we had to record this on a Monday and not our traditional Sunday night, which means I had to record this immediately after work, which means I'm wearing my work outfit.
Yeah, look at him. He got a pencil protector in his pocket.
How dare you?
Wait, do you?
No.
Oh, he actually looked at it.
Wait a minute.
No. I think, okay, but back before I was spouting a bunch of bullshit to hedge my bet, so like if I was wrong, I say, here, I said it with a grain of salt. I mean, if you were buying publishers, and you were buying publishers for a backlog of content coupled with a cornerstone of the market, Square makes the best sense. Microsoft has gone out of their way to lock down Western RPGs. Like, unless BioWare or CD Projekt Red is making the game, you're not going to see a Western RPG on a PlayStation. Like, that's not happening anymore. So So if you were trying to throw shots at Microsoft, who has always struggled in the Japanese market, there are three major parties to buy from. There is Capcom, but I think for the most part, Capcom is probably the more attractive, like all around, all covering your bases prospect of a Japanese studio. But and I'd have to.
Capcom, like Microsoft wouldn't buy Capcom because Sony owns Evo, and Capcom's biggest thing is Street Fighter. So that would probably.
I don't think that would stop. I don't think that would stop Microsoft. But I don't think one thing I did a lot of research into this ages ago and trying to understand how it would work for a Japanese company to be acquired by a Western company. And I think there's a lot of actual like. There might be some legal like bullshit beyond like cultural bullshit of like a bunch of Japanese businessmen not being wanting to like sell their business to a Western business. I think there may be some like corporate legal stuff that may make that difficult. Yeah. So like I don't think it's actually really easy for Microsoft to make a big purchase of a Japanese corporation. Yeah.
True.
But the thing we've always forgotten is Sony is a Japanese corporation that just happens to have a giant Western influence. So that's Sony doesn't have that issue, and Sony has a lot of inroads with all the Japanese publishers. But back to what I was originally saying about Capcom. There's Capcom, there's Sega. There's absolutely no value in Sega. Like, the only value in...
Son of a bitch. Take that back.
Sega,
just at radio.
There are three pillars of Sega's business model. There is the Atlas model, which is driving a business, and I think the only thing of real value out of Sega. But guess what? There's never been a Persona game on Xbox. I'm not even sure there even Persona 5, the Persona fighting games came to Xbox. So I don't think whatever deal that PlayStation has with that, they don't have to worry about that getting stolen anytime soon. The Sonic games are garbage. Like, I've always said they were garbage.
Hey, we're making a comeback this year.
I've always personally thought they were garbage. I think their track record has proved that they've been garbage. I think there's a lot of nostalgia running those games, and I'm happy for the people who enjoy them. But like, they're not an attractive thing.
2022 is our year.
Then there's the Yakuza pillar.
Yeah, Sean, go get him.
There's the Yakuza pillar, and I think the Yakuza pillar is really interesting, and it's had a big resurgence. But as someone who played Yakuza 1, like on PS2, like 15 to 12 years ago, that game took a long time to get to the point where it's like, oh man, people are excited to play those games. Yeah, so it's like, back to my original thought before I went on this weird...
Hey. We might get a Shenmue 4 announcement.
That's never happening. That's absolutely never happening. That's never happening. That's... I kickstarted Shenmue 3. Boy. I haven't even gone to my Kickstarter to redeem my copy of Shenmue 3.
Hey, you can get that to me. I'll play it.
But no, I think what Square has always been great at is making RPGs. Like, straight up. And
that's their bag.
And then, like, Final Fantasy VII Remake is one of the biggest games of all time. Kingdom Hearts, for whatever people say about it, every time the words are uttered, everyone's excited for it.
People pay attention. That's true. Yeah, people pay attention.
I think it complements their studios by giving them something that they don't necessarily have. And I truly think that if we also look at Square's output of all the garbage they just put out and don't care about, like The Quiet Man, Babylon's Fall, and what's it called? Balan Wonderland?
Wonderland, yeah.
PlayStation would succeed at just making sure those type of games don't come out.
True. You're not wrong. Like, they'd at least be able to be a stopgap to prevent that crap from infiltrating the market. But I think Square Enix would be a good purchase for Sony. If anything, they'd be able to align, I guess, more align like Final Fantasy 16. No, I think Final Fantasy 16 is too late. Like, if that's going to come to multi-plat, it's going to be multi-plat. Is it just PlayStation?
No, dude. Every game for the next year of major Square game is a PlayStation exclusive, with no worries it's ever coming to Xbox. Like for Spoken, Final Fantasy 16, Final Fantasy 7 Remake Part 2. Like,
damn.
The only thing that might come multi-platform, and that's only if this deal has to come through in the next 2 years, is Kingdom Hearts 4.
Right. All right. Well, I mean, this seems like a sure bet if Sony grabs up Square Enix. But
also, my last thought. Sorry. Also, the library of PlayStation Square games would instantly make the value of PlayStation Now and its subscription services way better.
Point. That's a great point. Yeah.
Like, old game is old, but if you tell me I can play Final Fantasy VIII with maybe trophies, you've got my subscription to the highest level.
You hear that, Sony? You hear that? That's all you got to do. But yeah, we want to hear from you, listener and viewer. Well, if you're listening to this, we ask that you jump onto the YouTube version of this so you can comment on how you feel or what you feel about Sony buying or potentially buying Square Enix. Because if it happens, it's going to be earth-shattering. It's going to cause earthquakes. It's going to cause global warming more so than we've already done. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy, Avery.
It's not going to be crazy.
It's not
going to be crazy.
Well, you have to let them believe that it's going to be crazy so they can comment.
Sony buying Epic would be like Sony buying Epic would be world-shattering.
Yeah, that'd also be insane. Oh, they'd have to get rid of Xbox or Fortnite on Xbox. Oh, we'll talk about it later.
They wouldn't.
They wouldn't touch that game with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah,
but they would make it a lot more easier for PlayStation people to get perks for it.
That's true. All right. Before we jump into the next thing, hey, you listener, it's me again. It's me. We ask that you please like this video, subscribe to the video, and hit the notification button. We are so close to 100 subscribers on YouTube. Once we get to 100,
Wow.
I think, yeah, I think we get some kind of thing from YouTube, like a thumbs up or something. Anyways, we want that thumbs
Nice.
up. So all we
Listen.
ask.
Here's what you do, followers.
Mhm.
Go to Best Buy on all the open computers. Log into YouTube. Make fake accounts. Subscribe to us. Pull up Press X to start on every single screen you can find on Best Buy. And if there's a Circuit City, some for reason, still open near you, go there too and do the same.
Yeah. So please don't use your personal account when you do this, but
Okay.
do this.
But
But don't
first of
use
all,
personal account.
this is me, Avery Williams, for personal plea. Do this so we can hopefully start monetizing this, and I can buy that super, super risque statue of Tifa that's been going around the internet.
So if you want Avery to have his perfect statue of Tifa,
I'll send it to you, Sean, so you can see what I'm talking about.
please subscribe to our podcast and also like and then hit the notification button. Just help us out, help Avery out, let Black people succeed. All right. Number 2. Avery, go ahead and just knock.
Let me just gotta send Sean a private message right quick because I don't want someone to come into this Discord and see some wild shit.
Hell is this?
What are y'all talking about on the podcast? Oh my.
Okay. Yeah. So our next story is actually still it pertains to Sony, and it's actually it kind of makes the idea of Sony buying Square a little bit more interesting. Is that this is from The Information. So, okay, I didn't put the story in there, but someone did, from The Information. This is from John Cisco. FTC opens inquiry into Sony's $3.6 billion Bungie gaming purchase.
Do you think he like thongs, Sean?
Wait, what? I'm looking at the statue. Is this like officially licensed?
Oh,
okay.
I don't think so. I mean,
wait. Send it to me. I want to see.
Okay.
Someone talk about this story.
no, go open my Discord. I put it in my Discord. It's like the first thing in there.
All right.
But yeah, this is from The Information. So the Federal Trade Commission has opened an in-depth investigation of Sony's proposed $3.6 billion takeover of Bungie. Now,
oh my god. Oh my god.
For context, so the people listening to this understand what
No context. No context. You're gonna have to.
No, I'm gonna do it because I don't want this. It's a weird flex. Okay, so and anyone who's played Guilty Gear, Strive, knows there's a character named Jacko who has a very specific body pose that's just mimetic, and everyone knows it's on the internet. Just type in Jacko pose, you'll figure it out. That being said, someone made a super high quality statue of Tifa in that exact same pose. And if you understand Tifa's exact outfit, you understand what has happened with this design. So we're moving on. It's very popular in Italy.
In Italy?
What's going on in Italy?
Oh my gosh.
Okay, Tangent. Remember that story where someone played Final Fantasy VII remake porn of Tifa on like the world's on the pop stage of Parliament?
Yikes.
Oh, yeah. Marcus, insert Busted Wide Open in here somewhere.
Back to the serious topic at hand.
Right.
From what I've read and investigated through other people, most people, well, there are two mindsets. There's the, hey man, video game acquisitions aren't just going to be like the arms race isn't going to be the arms race we think it is, because at a certain point, government regulatory bodies are going to get involved. Other people were like, this doesn't mean anything for Sony. This is not going to mean anything for Sony. This is going to go through. This is just them trying to understand what all this shit is, so that when people say Microsoft make giant ones, they have a more understanding of this. When I read this story, I was of the mindset, I don't understand how they could have a problem with the Bungie acquisition of $3.6 million when it's literally just acquiring a studio for a large sum of money. and then not bat an eye when Microsoft acquires a publisher for nearly 70.
Yeah.
Well, apparently they don't even have any power to stop it. So I mean, they're just
So Jeff Grubb on his cast, he actually gave some context for this and said, like, this is actually not that big of a deal. Like, if it was the Justice Department, this would be like, something might be up. But like the FTC looking at this is kind of a normal thing. So more than likely this will be fine. But the Microsoft deal is still probably, if anything was not going to pass, it would be the Microsoft deal, just because they're acquiring another publisher with a bunch of studios and X, Y, and Z.
To add, we're gonna skip this story, but to that point, the fact that New York City has sued Activision and is purporting some malpropriety in their selling to Microsoft could cause further issues in regards to that deal, even though it's been approved by all parties involved.
Right. Yikes.
Yeah. Okay. So next story is from PC Gamer. This is from Jorge Jimenez. Xbox has helped Fortnite sneak its way back onto iPhones. So essentially, xCloud, Microsoft's streaming platform for its Play Anywhere ecosystem, now runs Fortnite for no cost. And essentially, if you run that app, and that app is available on all mobile markets, so essentially, hey, now there is no dedicated Fortnite app. Your Fortnite connected to your Xbox Live account can now be played on your phone, which means, hey, everyone, got an iPhone? Download
or xCloud.
xCloud, and you got Fortnite again.
Yep. Which is really, really cool. Like, and it's one of those things that this is just another great move by Microsoft for the consumer. But like, do you have to pay for xCloud, right?
I was just trying to work that out in my head. I think it's free to just download, and I guess they have free to play games.
I don't think there are. I from what I can tell, and Jordan, when you come back, hopefully soon, you can fact check me on this as the master of the entire Xbox ecosystem. I'm pretty sure the way xCloud works is you need to be a Game Pass subscriber at a certain tier. Unless like games you own, I think you can have access to. Actually, I have no clue how xCloud is.
It's XPass. It's XPass. Jesus, it's Xbox Game Pass Ultimate that has cloud gaming.
Okay, so like
it does cost money.
Yeah, but I know for a fact that with Fortnite they are allowing it for free. So you don't need to actually be a subscriber. You just need to download it. And I think they're hoping everyone who played Fortnite on their phones downloads this with xCloud, sees xCloud, and so I was like, oh, I can play X, Y, and Z also on my phone. The only difference is that I'm not sure how the streaming for xCloud is going to work when it can literally just be the Fortnite game that was already designed to be run on your phone, or is it or is it actually streaming the Xbox version of it?
Oh, good point. Versus the mobile version.
You're not winning no games with that thing, like.
Yeah. Well, I guess it depends on the overhead of xCloud. Like, if that's going to be super intense, then you have to do that.
As cool as this story is, I definitely want to see what's going on in the cell phone manufacturers, like who kicked Fortnite off their platforms, and be like how they're going to react to this. Because like if I would
what is Apple gonna do?
Like I would kick xCloud.
Yeah, that would be the obvious thing to do. But like, that gets weird. Like,
that's another court case.
Yeah.
The thing is, does Microsoft have phones?
Not anymore.
They did at some point. They had Microsoft Windows Mobile at one point.
Mm-hmm.
It just died out.
It's an interesting.
Oh,
case.
You know what? They do have phones that they make, but they run Android. They have the Microsoft Duo, which is an ugly ass dual screen folding SOB, whatever. But yeah.
That's a very complicated court case that I'm not equipped to talk about or discuss in any authoritative form.
We need Dixa here.
Yeah, right. But Avery, tell us what you can talk about.
Oh, yeah. So this is a story that's near and dear to me and Sean's heart, and since it's a relatively slight news week, and it's the two of us on this podcast plus DJ, we're gonna turn this into an episode of Apex Legends podcast again, and we're gonna talk about Apex Legends Season 13 trailer introduces Newcastle and giant new monster. This is from Austin Goslin from Polygon. So yeah, we are. This is the weird time travel that we exist in. Tomorrow, which is going to be the previous Tuesday that you listen to this, Apex Legends Season 13 will have come out with its new legend, Newcastle, its new revamped Storm Point, a new reworked rank system, and a whole bunch of bug fixes and changes to the game. I cannot believe I'm 13 seasons into Apex Legends, and I also cannot believe that game has gone from the game out. I think at a certain point when I was still on the podcast, I'm like, 60 people in your game? That's not a fucking... That's not a battle royale. Like, I was still operating off the PUBG in my head. I'm like, that's not a battle royale. You need more. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here going like, 60 people, it's sweaty shit.
I can only imagine. They should do that as a limited time mode.
Yeah. So
people just to see all the chaos.
So, Sean, how do you feel about Newcastle now that we've seen him?
What happened to his stash?
The issue is there's two people. They released a Newcastle. They released a trailer, and then they released a Newcastle Tales from the Outlands trailer for him, which reveals that the Newcastle that we all see and all the fucking art and stuff, early art, is a completely different guy to the one who we're going to get into the game. Okay. The one we get into the game is Bangalore's brother, who's shaved off all his facial hair to look more like the old one.
Foolishness that. Fire for that. I'm excited to try to play him. But once again, I have to wait until tomorrow. I should call out sick.
I like my thing with Newcastle, whose abilities to explain are threefold. His passive ability is that he can drag a downed player across the battlefield. And when he's dragging them, his own knockdown shield will be used to protect them during the being dragged. So he can literally, to further drive Lifeline into the garbage pail where she belongs. He has her old res shield. Because what we also learned that if you have self revive, you can revive yourself while he's dragging you.
Getting dragged.
Yeah.
I don't know, but the level of his shield depends on what he uses. No, they used to have Lifeline where in the very, very beginning of the game, she would revive you and she would have a shield that would just block you from shooting them. And then at some point they removed the shield.
Well,
altogether.
I believe they made it
like RoboCop.
Yeah, they made it. Yeah, he does. They made it so Lifeline didn't have to physically be on you when she was reviving you. And then what they found at the highest levels of Apex, what would end up happening is people would willfully let their teammates get down and take 1v1v1s against people who were unable to get through this unbreakable shield. And they had like I think Lifeline, like it was just this weird thing. I can show you clips of just like players just taking consistent 1v1s against people, trying to kill them while they're a Lifeline and they're on their dead teammate. So I think they nerfed that and they got rid of the shield, and now she can revive multiple people at once, but with no shield, which results in my favorite thing, why I hate Lifeline players, is Lifeline, do not revive me in the open. Let me crawl to safety, then you can do your revive thing.
Yeah, and then he has also a tactical, like I want to say Reinhardt, kind of where you can throw down a shield and it can move, but the top half of it is breakable. I don't think they've shown if that's affected by anything as well. I think that just has a set of health.
If it's not affected by crypto utility, then they're fucking trolling. Because as someone who plays Gibraltar, that is fucking infuriating. And then his ultimate is a very weirdly designed move. This is one of those things I need to like test out in like. I need to get in like a lab and test out its actual utility, because I think it could be cool, but also I think it could be really fucking dumb. Is that He jumps into the air.
It's either cool or dumb.
He jumps into the air, does like a body slam to the battlefield, and then he instantly creates a at least one level high Fortnite style fortress in front of him.
That's kind of cool.
He jumps about the distance of Ash's teleport, apparently. Like, you can jump that far with it. I've been watching people who have used edited copies, hacked copies or whatever on YouTube of them testing his stuff.
My issue is that it feels as cool as it is. It very much feels like he very much feels like a character who can't be used solo. Like, if that makes sense. Like, he's a defensive legend, but he doesn't feel like a defensive legend that you can run as a solo defensive legend. You'd have to run. You'd have to run like another defensive legend, like probably a caustic with him, to like get the full utility of his kit, because you could easily.
What you're saying is like all this stuff is defensive, right? There's no real offensive that he has.
I would say he probably could. It would just depend on your gun skills.
I think it's very situational. Okay, so a big conversation me and Sean are having is, hey, I'm a Gibraltar main. I like to throw cover for my brothers. Like, that's my thing. Look, Gibraltar has been broken for like 10 seasons of Apex, in which like
they made him better than Lifeline at one point.
I think still better than Lifeline, but that's a different conversation that we can be having here. But the issue of Gibraltar is at the highest level, he's got like a 75% pick rate. Like,
okay.
In all these maps, like, there's so much open area, there's so much lack of defensible cover that like you need his dome, which is his tactical, like, to just to survive and reset and do all these things.
Does that move? The dome doesn't move, right?
Dome doesn't move.
No.
Okay.
But Newcastle's tactical shield does move, and I think you can pull it behind you as well. They'll give you behind cover.
Interesting. But like his alt doesn't move though, right?
No.
Okay.
I mean, until somebody finds some weird screwy glitch.
So why I'm bringing up Gibraltar in this conversation is that, like, hey, as a Gibraltar main, there are only 2 counters to the dome in the entire game, like active counters. There is Maggie's tactical, which is, we've discovered, is kind of useless because unless you're really smart, just shooting Maggie's tactical at a Gibraltar in the dome doesn't really do anything, because the Gibraltar can just literally walk to the other side of the dome and like you're still not hitting him because his dome's impenetrable. Or Crypto EMP, which will just take out Gibraltar dome and leave you out in the open. But no one fucking runs Crypto because it's not a fun character to play at a low level. But my thing with Newcastle is I think he has the same problem that Rampart has, in that I'm pretty sure good grenades will instantly fuck a Newcastle. And then
I don't think the bottom half of the shield is destructible, it's just the top half.
I'm just saying, like, arcing a grenade around it.
Yeah.
I mean, can't you just throw a grenade into it? Because it's like a dome, right? Or a semicircle?
You can do that with the top half once again.
Oh yeah. No, you can easily skynade a Newcastle shield. And then
everybody's not good at that.
Figure it out. And then in terms of like comparing his ultimate to Gibraltar's ultimate will fucking work in Newcastle, because his tower shield, his big tower thing, doesn't have a top, so it doesn't protect you from actual things raining down upon you. Right. So like, if I see a Newcastle out in the open, I'm just gonna throw my ult at him, and he's just gonna have to leave his defensive cover.
So is it possible that his shields just have more health or something?
They are destructible. Well, Gibraltar's shield doesn't have it. Like, you can't destroy it. Like, you can shoot it forever with all the ammo in the world, and it's not going to get broken. You need a Crypto EMP to destroy it.
Interesting.
I think he's going to go the way of Ash and go the way of Seer, in that those characters really, on mechanical level, feel like alternatives to both Bloodhound and Wraith, but they don't feel like they replace them for the most part. So it's going to take people really figuring out like the micro bullshit of this character to make him like really strong. But I'm of the mindset that you're still going to see a lot of Gibraltars. Probably you're going to see, if you see someone running Newcastle, like they're running it seriously, not like we're trolling, we don't give a shit about our comp, really. We're going to probably see him running with a Cossack or maybe a Rampart or more probably a Gibraltar.
Okay. All right. Well, listener, let us know how you feel about this new Newcastle person, because I'm obviously caught up on my Apex and I know all the people, all the
Also, shout out to Iffy and Wildway.
legends.
Achievement Hunter friend, college humor dropout friend, just all in all cool black dude on the internet. Don't look up his Twitter unless you want to watch someone who's super horny on main, just for no real reason. I will send you a quote that literally, man, I don't comment on any post on Twitter because who am I? Who am I? But he wrote something so like great. Yes, I'm just like, bro. Bro, come on now.
Go beat off before you start posting stuff like that.
Somebody call Spectacular Otter.
Oh my god, yeah, it's so fucking funny. But yeah, so he's responsible for. He's been working with the Apex team for at least 3 to 6 months. He's one of the writers of Respawn, and I guess he was the lead in terms of building Newcastle as a character.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So pretty much all the Newcastle writing and lore and character stuff, that's all him.
That's cool. All right. Well, with that being said, I think we are at that point where we are going to wrap this big turkey up. We hope you enjoyed the episode as much as you enjoyed making it. Don't forget to rate and review us on your favorite podcasting app. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification button on your favorite YouTube channel. That's us. Again, we are at 88 subscribers. I keep jumping on the subscribers thing. We need your support, fellow listener, fellow viewer, to get to 100 subscribers. It's not a lot. It's really not a lot in the grand scheme of things. I mean, like IGN has like 4.8 million subscribers. Like 100. Come on, just help us. Help us.
Even I'm subscribed.
Exactly. Even Avery subscribed. I saw that recently. I was like, it took you long enough, Avery, but
okay.
Thanks. With that being said, fellow listener, you be safe, you take care, you wash your hands, you have a great day. And if you can't have a great day, don't make anyone else's day bad, because I'll find you and I'll tickle you. Wait, no.
Octoblock.
You went too far.
Tickle.
you went too far there.
Yeah, DJ, that's harassment. That's harassment.
It is harassment, isn't it?
And we can't afford a lawsuit.
No, I can't afford a lawsuit.
Well, I mean, maybe we could get Cam to come out of retirement and represent us. Cam and Douglas.
Y'all see my lawyers? Y'all see my lawyers? I'm going to jail.
Y'all see my hitters?
Oh my gosh! All right, well, you take care. Catch us on the next episode, because we're always here. We're always here for you, and you can be here for us by just liking the goddamn YouTube thing. Okay, just do it. Bye.
Later, Gator.